welcome to another Mary's Cakes and Bakes. I'm Mary. This is
Ellie.
Yeah! Today we are making a Valentine's mirror cake.
That was yours, this one Marie.
Okay, so we are going to start with stacking this cake and filling it and all that jazz, and I've got some ganache and whatnot. So that's where we're going to start. And yeah, because chocolate's delicious. And who doesn't love it? And especially around Valentine's Day, that's what you give your loved one, right? You give them chocolate. Eh? Let's get started. Let's do it. Whoa. Okay. So first you're going to start with your cakes. So these have been sitting out and thawing for a little bit because you can't really work with like rock solid cake. You just can't. So you just want to take the top layer off so that it's nice and flat for when you stack it. Can you get that off?
It's cold.
It is cold.
Why is there frosting on here?
There's no frosting on there. That's just shiny. So we're going to get this cake, put it back in a plastic bag. We're going to save this for cake pops because they're delicious. Well, bam! That's supposed to hold the cake. Once you got your cake levels, you put your cake circle on. You tell your kid to stop spinning it. Can you stop spinning it, please? Thank you. All right. We're going to take our fighting tools.
Fighting tools?
Our fighting tools. All right. See, look, it's like frosting. It's like a super thick frosting. It's delicious. I'm going to put some down on the cake circle to make your cake stick. Excuse me.
Stab it.
Excuse me.
I stabbed it.
You stabbed it. Okay, so do your mirror cake, you want to make sure your cake circle is about the same size as your cake because the mirror glaze, you're going to be pouring over it and you don't want it to like get on your cake circle as well because that's just not how it goes. You just don't do that. We are going to use this and we are going to frost it. Okay? Oh, look how thick that is. Look at that deliciousness. Need some help? Oh! Do not lick your fingers and touch the cake again. Something else I didn't mention before. Okay, so while my co-host eats the ganache out of the sink, we're talking about simple syrup. Ta-da! You really just like squirt it on. Get it good.
Wait, we're watering your cake?
I'm watering my cake. I mean, hopefully it's going to grow. We whipped our ganache. Ta-da! So now it's whipped. So now it'll actually spread on the cake. I hope. Otherwise, I'm out of luck and I'm just going to have to use regular buttercream. And it's delicious, but I really wanted a chocolatey cake. So you get that nice and spread around. Once you've got a good layer, stack your next piece of cake on. And make sure it lines up, and if it doesn't line up right away, it's okay. Just smoosh it around. Come stand up and show everybody your chocolatey face. Ta-da! So she's covered in chocolate, and that's just how we roll at this house. Literally, you guys, 90% of this time this child has chocolate on her face, because that's how we live. We live in chocolate. Any sound effects?
I think you're stabbing the cake.
I'm stabbing? No, I'm not. I'm not stabbing the cake. That's what you do. I'm gonna put this on the top and down the sides, and this will be our crumb coat. But you want it to be smooth and beautiful and perfect because you're gonna pour the mirror glaze over, and that mirror glaze is gonna stick to every little imperfection in the cake. Smush it in there. Don't stab the cake. It does not need to die. Hey, what's that for? You got chocolate on my sleeve.
Did you like that evil laugh?
Yeah, that was a pretty evil laugh. I think Daddy did like it.
With a spin.
Wait!
And never stab the cake when you try it. Try and never stab the cake.
So you want to frost this so that it goes all the way past your cake board because you don't want to see any of it and you don't want the mirror glaze to stick to any of it. It needs to go off into the fridge to chill and harden for a couple of hours probably because it needs to be really chilled because the mirror glaze that we're going to pour over is going to be hot and we don't want it to just melt your cake. So goes off to the fridge, gets really, really solid, and then we will see you in a minute. While it's chilling, we're going to be making some decorations that we're going to put on the top, and then we'll make the glaze.
And then we're done.
Hi! We are back. We are going to do the chocolate hearts here for our decoration for the cakes. So I have white chocolate in several bowls here that Ellie's playing with one of them. And I'm going to dye them pink and red and white. Oh yeah, she's still chocolate beard. let's get started.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna start by melting the chocolate. See you in a sec. Ready?
Yeah.
We have shaved Chocolate Beard because she kept picking the chocolate off and eating it. And then she'd have to wash her hands again because she keeps licking her fingers. So, no more Chocolate Beard. Wah wah. Okay, we melted our chocolate. So, very important, gel food coloring. We're gonna do pink, we're gonna do red.
Pink.
It is pink. You sound surprised. So I'm gonna mix up the red, she's gonna mix up the pink. And we're gonna make a cute red and pink hearts and stuff. So the red seized up and also Aspen came. Ta-da! Welcome Aspen, she's a neighbor friend from down the street. Huh. Here we are with the chocolate. Like I said, the red seized, but the pink is fine. See? Ta-da! You want it to be nice and smooth. Also, we don't have to have the backs beautiful because they're the back. We're not gonna be seeing them. So, off to the freezer we go. Do you wanna stick that in the freezer, please? Yes. So now we're gonna make, you okay there? Okay, now we're gonna make our mirror glaze. This recipe is from Ro over on Nerdy Nummies. I've doubled it because my cake is like twice as big as the one that she did. So we tried starting this once and I was like, oh shoot, we need to double it. So now we're here again.
Yeah.
Alright, so here's what you will need for this mirror glaze. 6 packets of unflavored gelatin, 2 cups of sugar, let's see, 1 cup of cold water, half a cup of just like regular room temperature water, 1 cup of light corn syrup, 1 cup sweetened condensed milk, 16 ounces of white chocolate, a larger bowl with a sifter, because we're going to pour that through in a bit, a big bowl to mix it in, whatever food coloring you want. We're going to be using pink and red today. This handy dandy immersion blender. If you do not have an immersion blender, a regular hand mixer will do just fine. First you need to bloom your gelatin. Okay, so now I need you to stir, 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 stir until it looks like applesauce.
This looks like applesauce.
Looks like applesauce? Perfect, it does! So,
It kind of looks like applesauce. It looks like
don't eat it. That would be yucky. So, what we're gonna do next is saucepan. You combine, okay, half a cup of water.
Sorry.
Yep, 2 cups of sugar.
Just too heavy for me. So you help me dump it. Woo.
We need the corn syrup in there.
What are we making?
We are making the mirror glaze for the cake. I gotta get all of that corn syrup out.
Do this.
You wanna whisk it? Go for it.
So go.
Now let's take it over to the stove. Okay, now this part Mommy has to do. Heat this on medium-low until all the sugar is melted and everything's combined and it comes to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, remove it from the stove and return to your baking station. Okay, once you have boiled your mixture, you'll bring it back to your baking station or you can choose to do this on the stove. So once it's hot, this pan is very hot, be very careful. We're going to add our bloomed gelatin and it's going to kind of peel up like this. We're going to add it in there and we're going to whisk that now.
It smells really good.
Alright, once your gelatin is whisked in, mixed in completely, you are going to add your sweetened condensed milk and you're going to whisk it again. Gently so you don't spill. So you've got this lovely white mixture. Very, very hot mixture. So what you're going to do next is you're going to pour it over your chocolate. Pour that on over the chocolate. And we're just going to let it melt. Just going to let it sit for a minute and melt. Once you've let the chocolate sit for a bit, you're going to use your immersion blender. If you don't have an immersion blender, a regular hand mixer will work just fine. An immersion blender is just really good for chocolate because it makes it really smooth. It's still hot, so don't touch, okay? But we're going to use the blender. It's going to be loud. Do you want to stay here for it or do you want to go? Okay. Have fun. Alright, I think that looks good, don't you think? That looks pretty smooth?
Looks pretty good.
Okay, careful, it's hot. So it's still pretty hot, so we're going to pour it through this strainer. And the reason for that is there are still some, just to catch any air bubbles or any chunks or whatever that are still left, because we want our mirror glaze really smooth. So we're going to pour that on in through the strainer. I hope it'll all fit. Let it drip. Aspen.
Yes.
Put the ganache down.
I'm sorry.
So all that mirror glaze is nice and smooth in there. And now we are going to divide it up to color it. So we're going to do kind of like a marbly effect with red and pink and white because it's for Valentine's Day. You're going to want a cookie sheet. You can line it with wax paper if you want to. I actually probably will on mine. And it's to catch the drips. We're going to be pouring this glaze over the cake and it's going to be awesome. I'm going to take my cake lifter and unstick this from this board. Okay, watch, it's gonna go flying. That would be sad. I would cry. Okay, and it's ganache, so you can kind of just manhandle it a little. But you don't want to touch it too much. You don't want to touch it too much or it'll start melting on your hands. Here we go. Woo! It didn't marble very well. So if you pour the glaze on and it kind of thins out like this, it might be a little too warm. Whoops! So this didn't do quite as cool of a marbly effect as I was hoping, but that's okay. If you do in the future want to do a marble effect, you can just pour the colors on separately and it will have the marble effect, which is probably what we should have done.
Yeah.
But oh well, that's okay.
Works.
So something you want to do when you're doing your mirror glaze, if you don't have way too much like us, pour on the edges, the very edges, to make sure it all gets really covered. Because it'll just spread on out and down the cake. And if you have issues, like if there's a spot you haven't covered or whatever, this stuff is actually scoopable and you can reuse it. I've done that. And it actually works pretty well. So you need to let this sit and drip for about 10 minutes and then you come back and you can either take like kitchen scissors or a knife or an offset spatula, whatever you've got, and trim around the edges. So we will see you again in a few minutes. Not yet. Yay. Alright, so this is what you get. So I got a cool drippy effect because I was scooping up the mirror glaze and like still, don't touch the cake. Don't touch the cake. So I was taking a spoon and I was pouring the mirror glaze over the edges and it made a cool drippy effect. If you want the super smooth, which I can, we can do that later. I plan to do another mirror glaze at some point and it'll be a lot smoother. So tips, you want to use white buttercream to be able, so that it'll actually reflect your design. If you want to do a marble effect, pour the colors separately. And also, this is things we've learned today. Also, when you pour your mirror glaze, it's good to have a candy thermometer and make sure that the temperature of the glaze is between 95 and 100 degrees. So it's just barely going to be warm to the touch. So that way it'll actually stick to your cake as opposed to dripping off and being see-through. You're doing a sad face? Why are you doing a sad face? Okay, here we go. So we got our little hearts out of the freezer. They're so cute. And I also have some white buttercream here with a wilted number 199 tip that we're going to do a border on this cake. So Aspen and Ellie are going to decide where to put the hearts. Okay, here you go.
Alright.
And don't touch the cake because it'll goober and it'll get on your clothes. Put one over that piece of chocolate. Perfect. It's real hard to eat, my lady. Perfect. Now we're going to pipe a border on. Okay. So we are going to we're going to make it look like seashells, kind of. Okay, so this is pretty firm frosting, so you gotta squeeze pretty hard and kind of move it along. And I'm using pretty consistent pressure, and I'm just, whoa! Don't turn it, please. Because I need to control it, okay? I'm just using pretty consistent pressure, and it's going a little wonky because it got turned on me. It got turned on me! And going along.
Can I turn it?
Not yet. Okay, now you can. Okay, and Mommy's just going to turn it, okay?
We're taking turns turning.
Okay. So I'm just doing kind of like a, I don't know what to call this. Just like a little squiggly line with this one, but it kind of, with the tip I've got, it does kind of a pretty almost seashell type effect, which I like.
She's still touching.
Okay, do you want to turn it? A little bit more. There we go. And the thicker the frosting, the more pressure it's going to take to squeeze it out. And also different angles change how the frosting will look. All done. Whoops. Whoop. Okay. We are finished with our cake.
That looks pretty.
It's pretty cool, huh?
What's in it?
Chocolate cake. We just did it earlier. So this is our Valentine's mirror cake with little drippies down the side because we thought that looked cool.
It's pretty though.
It is pretty. I like it too. So this is our Valentine's cake. We're going to cut into it and eat it. Yeah? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you want to be notified every time we upload a video, hit the little bell icon next to the subscription button, and you will get an email every time that we upload. Also, if you subscribe, you okay? If you subscribe, you will get bonus footage and bloopers from us every month. So, make sure you hit that subscribe button to see funny Ellie moments and funny me moments where we just screw everything up. And maybe a few funny Aspen moments, we'll see. Okay, say bye.
Bye. Bye.
See you next time.
It looks so good. You're so good at cutting it.
I'm so good at cutting it?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Is that good, Ellie?
She's like sitting there making noises. Hang on. You want to eat some of this? You want to get some of the glaze in there? I want to get some of the ganache and the glaze in there. Here, I'm going to eat this top a little bit. I don't know how to eat this either. You just eat it.
We have to make it look pretty eating it.
I'm going to eat it.
Like,
I'm going to demolish it.
Send it, I'll eat.
What?
Send it to me, I'll eat it.
Send it to you, you'll eat it?